Hi everyone, my name is Olaiton Onyebonha. You're welcome to today's edition of Ask to Know with Ocrej Consulting. Who are we? Ocrej Consulting is an international education recruitment settlement organization that helps study applicants in Canada to settle with ease. We research schools that actually meet your budget, and we work with you to navigate the process of applying, the things you need to put in your resume and SOP that makes you stand out from an average person. The purpose of today's video is to address some specific questions that have come to us from our applicants and to ensure that they are able to knock off such hurdles while they're trying to apply for their application. They're trying to send their application to schools, or they're looking to apply for visa. Because we are not yet licensed as an immigration consultant, we do not talk about immigration consultant. However, we refer or reiterate the statement or establishment of fact that has been, listed on canada.ca. So, for any study-related questions, Ocrej Consulting is your to-go person or easier to-go contact organization. We are a partnership that works because we try to put ourselves in the position of the clients. So we try to make sure that all the services we render are tailored to specific needs, because we have been there before. We were once a student, so we understand your pain points, and that is why we will not do things that actually jeopardize you achieving your goals, but we will work with you to ensure that you meet or you surpass your expectation around certain course of action. Coming back to our audience, we thank you so much for subscribing to our channel. You are the reason we are here today. If you don't subscribe, we can't even be here. You won't even be able to pass on this message we're passing on. Thank you for your subscribing to our channel. And if you have not yet subscribed, kindly hit the subscribe button below, or I graduated from the University of New Brunswick St. John MBA program in 2015. And later on in 2019, I enrolled at Ashton College, British Columbia for my immigration consulting diploma. I am not yet licensed to practice as an immigration consultant, but I bring to you wealth of experience as a student who came to Canada 7 years ago, and also as a business professional that have worked in different organizations, and also as a resident of Canada. All the experiences that I've gained over the years are the things that I want to share with you today. Welcome back, beautiful people. So like I said earlier on, the purpose of this session is for us to be able to address questions that has been sent to our inbox by some of our clients and some people that are looking to get a bit of clarification around their study permit application. And bear in mind that I said everything we're going to be talking about today is still going to be directly related to the explanation that has been provided on canada.ca website. We typically take questions around studying in Canada, how to apply to schools, what are the requirements around funding and all that. But today's questions that we have right here is actually tailored around study visa. And I'm not surprised, because today is May 15th, 2021, which happens to be the last day of the deadline that has been provided by canada.ca for any student that is looking to resume to ISOA program for the fall 2021 by September. We all know the fall entry term in Canada is between late August into September. So canada.ca has advised that if you are interested in getting a decision on your study permit application, you're expected to submit your application. Complete application means everything that has been listed in the checklists that you have printed out by way of you going through the eligibility checklists, and the checklist has provided certain documents to be completed and submitted. So that complete application it means that you have been able to provide all those information that you have in your study permit questionnaire. So a complete application is deemed complete when all the checklists that you've been provided have been uploaded and submitted. If you had biometrics before, one would expect that that would also count for you as part of the complete application. From my understanding, I am not an immigration consultant, and I would not advise you as a consultant. I would advise you as a fellow friend in the struggle that has been through this stage. I was once a student. I applied by myself. I didn't engage a consultant. So you can do it yourself as well. Coming back to what we're saying, what I am saying is that today is the last day that you will be allowed to submit, so you can meet the deadline that ICRC has given if you are interested in studying in Canada in 2021. Did I just say ICCRC? Sorry, I meant IRCC. ICCRC is another organization that is involved with, membership application if you're looking to become a consultant. I'm sorry, that was just in my head. I was just looking at the website before for ICCRC, but what I'm saying here is IRCC. So please pardon that error. Now, jumping into the first question, I will read this one. It says, do I need to show proof of fund when applying for a study permit? I think you can answer that, because proof of fund is an extremely important criteria that shows that you are able to fund your education while being here in Canada. Tell me, if you're not ready to pay, if you don't have the capacity to pay for your study, there's no point applying. So you need to technically and definitely show the proof of fund when applying for your study permit. So you need to show, maybe if you paid part payments of the tuition, you need to show the receipts, evidence of the payment. You also need to show some basic source of your fund, either by your parents sponsoring you, either by your savings, either by a family member that has decided to say, okay, oh, my friend Andrew, because I am actually loyal to you, I'm indebted to you on certain things, take this amount of money and allocate it towards some part of the expenses you're looking to incur in Canada. That's another proof. But basically, you need to show a proof that this money has been saved over the years. It's not just something that you wake up today and then you go and arrange a lump sum of money and put into your bank account. So you need to show proof, because studying in Canada, it's not just it's not a joke. It's not a joke. You need to show that you have the money in there. You're not going to put a burden on the system by way of not able to pay your tuition and not able to complete, because then it jeopardizes the essence of you getting study permits in the first place. So my answer to this is, you must show the proof of fund when applying for a study permit. The other question that I can also go. So as I was saying before, I just want to get the word as it was stated in print on www.canada.ca as regards proof of financial support. I'm just going to read it out. You must prove that you can support yourself and the family members who come with you while you are in Canada. And that also addresses this question, do I need to show proof of fund when applying for a study permit? You can prove your funds with a proof of Canadian bank account in your name if you've transferred money to Canada. GIC, it is called Guaranteed Investment Certificates. Bank statements for the past 4 months, proof of a student or education loan from a bank draft that can be converted to Canadian dollars. There are certain ways of establishing the proof, and you've heard the word proof. You must genuinely prove that you are coming to Canada to study. And financial capability is one important aspect that can never be negotiated. You don't have money to come to Canada, tell me why a visa officer should give you the visa, should even make a decision to accept that you come to Canada to study. Are you coming to become a burden to the system? Are you coming to study or to wonder? So those are the questions that, you are likely to address by way of your presentation of your financial document that establishes that you're capable. Now, I hope that addresses that. I would also like to take it a step further, right? For students that are outside, that are looking to study outside of the province of Quebec, you, the students, the amount of fund that is required per year, that does not include tuition, the tuition, you're expected to check the website of your school to know how much the tuition is going to be. The canada.ca, they will expect that you will have 10,000 Canadian dollars per year before your tuition. Say for instance, your tuition is 15,000 Canadian dollars. The expectation is that you as the student, you're here to study, you must have 10,000 Canadian dollars. And you also have amount of fund required per month, which is like 833. Do you understand? So let's just say 900 per month is what you're expected to have as just like maybe living expenses and all that. So if you're coming with additional family member, for the first family member, you're expected to have 400 Canadian dollars. So you and maybe your spouse, we're looking at 10,000 plus 4,000. So that is non-negotiable. 14,000 Canadian dollars should be stuck somewhere to show that for the next 1 year, my spouse and I, we're going to be living on the 14,000 Canadian dollars. What that means is additional member 333 when you do the calculation. So we now have every other accompanying family member. It could be a family of 3, which is the father, mother, and a child. And one of the parents, maybe the husband or the wife, is the one coming to study. So you as a student, your spouse, and your child, you are expected to have 17,000 at least tucked away, non-touch. So 10,000 for you as the student, 4,000 for your first accompanying family member, and 3,000 for the next accompanying family member. That's 17,000. So the example is there. I will just encourage and enjoin you to go over to www.canada.ca. That is where we obtain the source of our discussion explanation to you today. So please visit that this canada.ca. You have all the answers to your question. But if you know you don't have the time, you just want a quick summary of what I need, this is your go-to spot. Ocrej Consulting, we make the information available at your beck and call. Now, the other question that I have here is, what is the difference between study permit and permanent resident visa? Okay, I think the first thing that needs to come to your mind on these two is that study permits means that you are a temporary resident or a foreign national that is looking to come study in Canada. So you will need a study permit. For permanent residence visa, that means you've gone through the permanent residence application and you have been issued a visa to travel to Canada. So the word permit and the word visa means you need a document to enable you travel. Permit means you are allowed, to stay. So now, study permit itself means an authorization to study in Canada as a temporary foreign resident. Well, a permanent resident visa, which they call PR visa, is issued to you just as you will have in the case of a study visa, as an authorization to enter. So you have been given the visa to enter Canada, not to come study in the case of study visa. So in the case of permanent residence visa that you've been issued, you have been issued that visa to enable you to travel and enter into Canada for you to obtain your status as a PR. In the case of study visa as well, you have applied for a study permit and you will also be given a visa. So the study permits would only be given to you once you have entered into Canada with your study visa. So you need a visa as an authorization to travel to Canada. Upon arrival at the point of entry, the visa and the border officer will check your documentation that you have and check your record to see that you don't have anything that makes you inadmissible to Canada. So it is when you are deemed admissible, you would be issued your permit to enter and study in Canada. I hope that addresses that. Well, the other question. Okay, what I have here also is that bear in mind that you need to fulfill certain requirements to be able to enter Canada at the point of entry, which is true. And that's the point where I said if you're admissible, maybe you've not done anything that has, made you inadmissible. So all these things are also on canada.ca. It's not hard to find. All you just need to Google is just Google inadmissibility to Canada. What can make you not to be admissible to Canada? All the answers will pop up. There's another question here saying, if my visa or work or study permit is refused, will I have to give biometrics for my next application? No, biometrics are valid for 10 years. So if your study permit is refused at this point, your study permit application is refused now, you can still apply because the biometric that you gave the first instance is still valid for 10 years. So that settles that. That also, you can still go to canada.ca to, read up and read more about that. What happens next if a study permit is refused? Well, if you're refused, there has to be an explanation in the same document that conveyed your refusal for the study permit. So if that is actually received, you need to read through the lines to understand why you were refused. So then that will now make you to decide what is next. So if, judging by what you have read on print, states that, okay, you are refused because you did not address X, Y, and Z points, then it will also be stated, because I remember when my brother-in-law was refused, it was also stated why it was, and we responded based on the reason it was refused. I remember when one of my friend was also refused as well. It was explained why she was refused, and all she did was to reapply the second time, explaining why she was addressing the question that the case officer stated on the note, and she was admitted the second time. So the chances are, depending on what is stated on that refusal letter, if you're able to address it, why not just go ahead and apply? And you never know, addressing that could mean that is the end of it, you get your visa. But if you are refused again, I would just recommend that you reach out to an immigration lawyer and you go the path of seeking judicial review from a federal court in Canada. We have seen different cases. We've heard about cases. One of my friends in recent time was telling me that a brother was refused, and what they did was to engage a lawyer, and the lawyer had to take it up by way of judicial review. So you have that option as well. It is not a closed case. Like, a refusal once doesn't mean an end to your study visa move, or study visa goal, or study permit application, or international education career in Canada. So you need to keep pushing. It's a never say never thing, until maybe it gets to the point where the lawyer has advised that, oh, I really don't think you need to try any further. But if that has not been said, if that verdict has not been given, I think you should keep going and try to address the reason you were refused. And I know another option where some people utilize. If you have a friend in Canada, it could be a permanent resident, a citizen, or even a temporary resident person here. You can have the person request for what is known as GCMS notes. The GCMS note will state the reason why you were refused, and then you can now follow that and apply. So like I said, this is something you can do by yourself, but if you think this is tedious, this is not something that I'm wired for, please engage a licensed Canadian immigration consultant. We've heard around that there are people that they just engage ghost consultants. Please engage a licensed immigration consultant acting within the confines of the law of immigration of Canada immigration system. So, is it possible to stay in Canada after graduation? Yes, it may be possible. And I put here it may be possible because it's a function of what you want to do. When I graduated in 2015, I stayed back to work. I got my post-graduation work permit, I worked, and then from there I moved on to becoming a permanent resident. That is one instance. There are some other persons in my class that didn't stay. They went back to their country because the father wanted them to head the family business. They want them to. So it's a function of you yourself. And I've seen cases where people, upon the completion of their first degree, they apply to the second degree, and then they apply for a new study permit based on the terms of the second application. So those ones are pretty much obtainable as well. So there are three options that I've stated here. One is to apply to another school to study again. Another one is apply for your post-graduation work permits, which eventually leads you to the path of obtaining your permanent residency. So those are the questions that we have for today. Okay, the last one also is more like a repetition of the first one. What is the difference between study permit and study visa? So that's I hope we've been able to address today's all the questions we have received today, and by next week again we'll come back with certain questions. Like I said earlier on at the beginning of this video, today is May 15, 2021, which happens to be the deadline that has been given by canada.ca if you are looking to receive your study permit application decision by end of August in order for you to be able to travel to Canada for fall 2021. The fall term is around September. Some school resumes early like August, but basically September. So if you're looking to travel to come study, I guess by today, you should have your documents ready. I think by now you should be clicking. You should be clicking the submit button now. And one thing I will remind you all about, what I will try to remind you of is that is to ensure that you state the truth, nothing but the truth. Nothing should be added. Don't hold back. Misrepresentation can land you 5 years of ban from coming to Canada. State it as it is. Don't change anything. If you're not too sure, go back to canada.ca and read. If you're still not too sure, reach out to an immigration consultant. Let them help you. You don't want to jeopardize or delay your career or your journey by 5 years. Five good years. You don't want to jeopardize anything. State the truth, and that truth sets you free. That truth would land you the right decision, and the decision to give study visa lies on the officer that is dealing with your case. So I just want to enjoin you to put the right documents in place. If you're still trying, there's still time. It's still like 6:15 p.m. my time. You still have time to get things in. And to all our clients that received their admission letter since the beginning of this year till now, I celebrate with you all, and I am glad you have been able to get the expertise of licensed immigration consultants in Canada. We work with them. We are not yet licensed to practice immigration, and we don't touch it. So we try to refer our clients to the people that would assist, that would take their time and treat their case with care, as we have done at the application phase. And once you have received your study permits, we celebrate with you and we move on to the phase of settlement. Ocrej Consulting has helped quite a lot of international students from Nigeria to settle. This year, we added another country, India. We've had friends, colleagues, co-workers from India looking to settle, and we have been gracious enough to provide our expertise, our support, and our assistance to them. Many a times, we go out of our way to help them to go to the, to just raise bank drafts and deliver it to the spot or the location where it is needed. This is why we say we have partnership that works. We work with you every step of the way. We take the issue as though it's where our own. Because when you win, we win. When you win, we have a success story to celebrate. We have a success story to tell another client that we have done it before for Mr. A. We can do it for you as Mrs. B. So, at this point, we thank you for coming to our YouTube channel. We appreciate you for everything, and we see you next week. Bye for now. Stay blessed and stay safe.